Guys, welcome to another edition of 5 Minutes for Your Faith. I am glad that you're able to join me today. So if you have your Bibles, please let's go ahead and turn to Matthew chapter 5, verse 16 as we look into our devotional for the day. And the series that we're doing here is just looking through different aspects of the person of Christ, what his example sets for us and how it should reflect on us and how we should live our lives in view of that. So again, we're going to look in Matthew chapter 5, verse 16 today as we look at this text. I challenge you to just be open-hearted, be open-minded, because God is always wanting to speak through his word. So today, the title of our series message today is this, and that is a perspective that directs. A perspective that directs. And what I mean by that is this, is that we have a perspective on everything. How do we see Christ? How do we see the worth of Christ in our life? Because that's going to reflect in how we look at this verse today and how it's going to apply to our life by the end. So let's look at Matthew chapter 5, verse 16 as we talk about this perspective that directs. So let's read Matthew 5:16 together as you take your Bibles and turn there with me. Matthew 5:16 says this, "Let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven." And so here are 4 points, 4 phrases, 4 words that I just want to target in this verse today as we're talking about having a perspective that directs. Our perspective needs to be something that first needs to affect us before it can affect other people. So it says, let your light shine. Let your light shine literally means this, that it is an ongoing thing that implies consistency apart from circumstances. In other words, what it means is this, that when we go out into the world, we have a light that shines in us, a light of truth, the light of Christ. If we're truly saved, we're going out into the world and our light is shining. But the thing is that are people seeing us and seeing a light that is a true representation of Jesus? Is what we convey in the way we live truly representative of Christ? That's a big challenge, isn't it? That's something that we have to look at ourselves and say, am I really representing Jesus today? Am I letting my light shine in such a way where people see what I've got that truly reflects a relationship with him and not just being a person who plays the cultural Christian? So let's look at the second word, the second phrase that stands out in this message devotional today, and that's this. In such a way. In such a way implies purposefulness. It shows you take the necessary measures to achieve a goal. Just like anything else, if you're going to accomplish your schoolwork, if you got a project going on, unless you're just a procrastinator or something that flies by the seat of your pants and stays up until 2 a.m, the day of that it's due, you have goals to reach, you have plans that you usually set in place to accomplish that goal. And so when it says in such a way, what I'm getting at is this, what Jesus is trying to get at is this, when you're going out into the world, shine your light in such a way that magnifies me on purpose, because you can't just wake up on accident and love me and serve me and follow me. So in such a way means that you are purposefully being used by God as a vessel today, as we read Matthew 5:16, that God shines his truth through you. Let's move on to our third point, and that's this, that they may see. That they may see. And what that means is that there is a desired good that our actions cause others to discern and are made aware of the truth of God. It's interesting, isn't it, that the way you live affects how people view who Jesus is. That's why we have to grasp that choices matter, our actions matter, our words matter, the way we relate to other people, the way that we react with other people matter, because that gives them an impression of who Jesus is when they know you call yourself a Christian. That's why it is so dangerous for people to say that they love Jesus and then only do what any other cultural Christian would do. Your choices matter, that they may see. That is such a huge thing, that your lifestyle reflects or dishonors, it misinforms other people's view of who God is. So let's look at our last point, and that's this. To glorify your Father in heaven. When we talk about glorifying something, it means that we give it weight, we give it elevation, we lift it up above other things, and we recognize the true worth of it. And so how are we going to be able to shine our light before men in such a way that they glorify God in heaven? Well, that means that your relationship with Him has to affect you first before you are able to affect anybody else. Your faith has to change you before it changes anybody else. Your perspective should direct you to have a true savoring and love for Christ so that you are able to influence others and direct their perspective to have a true understanding and love and savoring of Christ as well. Thank you so much for joining me for 5 Minutes for Your Faith. I hope that you got something out of this today, and I challenge you just to stay in the Word and tune in tomorrow for another edition of 5 Minutes for Your Faith. I'll see you next time, guys. Thank you.